let's talk about the greatest Mercedes, the greatest modern Mercedes ever made. And I'm talking about the AMG One. Now, the AMG One is basically a, a race car for the road. Now, why do I say this? Because of what it is. I mean, just looking at that car, you see it and you think it's a race car. The design, the whole thing, it looks fantastic, and it's very different from any other Mercedes we ever seen, from their sports cars or regular cars or anything. This looks like a proper race car, and I personally think it's very attractive. Now, the other reason why I say is basically a race car for the road is because apparently Mercedes is using its Formula One car, the Mercedes Formula One car's engine, a 1.6 liter V6 engine, and they've added a hybrid system to it, which basically makes the output a 1,000 and something horsepower. It's over 1,000. I'm not sure of the number. So about 1,000 horsepower Mercedes, and it's really fast because the design of the car is also based on the F1. So basically, it is kind of like a race car that's legally allowed to go beyond the road, which is awesome to see. I mean, just think about it. A V6 and 1.6 liter V6 engine with a hybrid powertrain that's putting over 1,000 horsepower is insane. And I honestly think that Mercedes should capitalize on this and focus this on their making supercars based on this. And maybe they should put the V6 in other cars. This version of the V6, the Formula One V6. I think it's the Formula One V6, but yeah, they should put this V6 in other cars and just try to get off on the supercar world. I mean, even without the hybrid powertrain, this engine should produce a lot of power. And we already seen that 600 engines are very successful. I mean, Porsche basically runs on those things, and they're famous for their inline six. So Mercedes couldn't compete with them directly and put in a 600 supercar, which will be awesome to see. I mean, yes, I know there are other technically Mercedes supercars, but those don't have the same brand recognition that Porsche does. And because Mercedes is still considered a luxury brand, and their AMG lineup is considered a sportier luxury brand, personally, but they're not considered a supercar brand, and they could really use this car's technology and make it trickle down, make it less expensive, and create get into a supercar market. Because if you get into a supercar market, your brand's image completely changes. I mean, imagine if you're also known as a super luxury brand and a supercar brand. Now that's a really difficult thing to do, because there's compromises when you're trying to do both. But if they do this, it would be awesome. And Mercedes is already famous for the S-Class. Imagine if they're famous for their supercar too. The brand would be on another level, which nobody else has been able to do so far. I mean, we see either mass consumers brands, or super luxury brands, or supercar brands, but we have never seen a brand that does two of these things together. And Mercedes has got an opportunity to do this, and I hope somewhere along the line they start putting this engine in their supercars and maybe make a somewhat of a similar design to the AMG One. Now, I know this is super aerodynamic and race car-ish, but maybe take some elements from it and maybe focus their AMG division purely on supercars. That would be awesome to see. I mean, AMG already has a good brand reputation as a supercar, sports car-ish sports car is leaning, and they could really completely focus that division on making supercars, and that would be awesome. And let's hope it comes to fruition someday.